I'm recording this session and I'll be uploading the recording videos to the channel. Okay. So, as explained in the previous session, we discussed case intake, data entry, medical review, quality review, regulatory submission, and signal reports. Okay. So, for case intake, we have to understand from where we receive the cases, like what type of cases are received in pharmacovigilance and what are the different source documents that we can receive while processing cases. Okay. How many of you know that there are different types of documents that are processed in pharmacovigilance? Guys, if you want to speak, please speak up. Okay. So let's start with the first case types or source document that we process in pharmacovigilance. Let me know when my screen is completely visible.
Visible,
You can
sir.
see the SIOMS form on the screen.
Seance
This is
from
the one
so
type of regulatory document that we receive as a source document in pharmacovigilance. There are different sections to the SIOMS form. It involves patient initials, country, reaction, date of birth of the patient, age, gender, reaction onset, that is event onset date, and describe reaction section includes the adverse event that are there in the case. This section includes the seriousness criteria. Then there comes suspect drug information, their doses, route of administration, indication for use, therapy dates, therapy duration, concomitant medication details, relevant history details, and the reporter information. And here it is the dechallenge and rechallenge information. This is the SIOMS form that we receive. Okay. Moving on to MedWatch. This is a MedWatch form which is used for reporting in USA. It's a FDA document. As you can see, US Department of Health and Human Services, Food and Drug Administration. This is similar to SIOM's form in terms of the sections that we have. That patient identifies age, gender, date of birth, race, ethnicity. This is a different section of race and ethnicity. Adverse event details, then date of event, date of this report, then event description, then relevant test section, history section, and product information. So these are the two basic documents that are used in post-marketing case processing or ICSR exchange. Okay. Moving on, we have clinical research form, CRF, or case report form. It is a clinical study report, sample case report form. This is used in clinical trial cases. Okay. This is one type of document that are used in clinical trial cases. Here you see inclusion criteria, exclusion criteria, then information section, then subject eligibility, screening details, then their vital signs, then laboratory evaluations, and everything that is a part of the clinical trial study, it is filled over here in clinical research forms. I'm going to show you a ADR that is a reference document from Indian Pharmacopoeia
Sir,
Commission.
slides are not
It is a
visible.
sample form. This is how we report adverse events in India. Same, it is similar to the SIOMS form, the patient initial, then age, gender, weight, event details, and everything that we fill over here. Medication details, then action taken detail, concomitant detail.
Sir,
Okay,
slide declaration.
wait.
We stuck on the first slide only.
Okay, you didn't see anything like. Let me again share. Now the SIOMS form is visible to you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now it is
Yes, now
visible.
it is visible.
This is the SIOMS form that we receive. Okay, that I was explaining. It has different sections: patient initial, country details, date of birth, age, gender, reaction, adverse event details, and the seasons criteria detail, and suspect product details, D-challenge and re-challenge information, concomitant drugs, medical history, reporter information. This is used globally and is used to report ICSR exchange. This was the SIOMS form. Now moving on to MedWatch. MedWatch is basically used in USA cases, or US like to report cases in to FDA. Patient identifiers. It is similar to SIOMS form, which we use like in terms of sections: patient identifier, age, details, and everything. Types of report, adverse event information, and like event details, lab data details, other relevant history, suspect products, and all these details like whenever we have different multiple suspect products in the case. And then we have a case report form that is used in the clinical trials. The case report form usually involves the study information, then inclusion criteria, exclusion criteria, demographic details of the patients, vital signs, and laboratory evaluation, medical history information. The CRFs are different from the other like source documents in terms of details included in that. Okay, the CRFs are very elaborate because in clinical trials we study or we record every single detail related to the patient. Even if the patient was a smoker, then we will be recording how many cigarettes or how many tobacco products he or she smoke usually, when, how many in a day. Even every single minor detail will be recorded in the case report forms for clinical trials. Even like how many surgeries the patient have had in the past, even if it is a child, it will be recorded. Okay. Then moving on to a sample adverse event reporting form that is used in India. Suspect adverse drug reaction reporting form. As a fresher, you must have seen this multiple times on LinkedIn or any other platforms, or whoever doing the internships at IPC. They must have seen this. Okay. Similar to again MedWatch and the SIOMS form, patient detail, age, gender, weight, event details, and the event description, lab data information, medical history, and seriousness criteria and outcome, suspect medications, action taken, concomitant drugs, and everything. These details will be mentioned over here. Moving on to one more type that we have. Just a second. Is the sorry, what I was saying. Yeah, the other type is medical inquiry. Okay. Let me share my screen again. Is my screen visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is the medical information request form or medical information or medical inquiry. Whenever a patient or any healthcare professional inquire about any product, they can reach out to the company portal and they can reach out to the companies directly. Every pharmaceutical company will have their contact details available. They can reach out, they can fill up this form and they can inquire anything. Any medical inquiry will also be recorded in the safety databases, whether a person experienced anything or there were no event. It is a responsibility of the manufacturer to record every single inquiry related to the product as well. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Then moving on, we have literature source documents as well. Okay. Any literature like art research article where it is like the study is being conducted on the patients, they can be like they are also used as a source documents and which are used to process cases within the safety database, any kind of safety database that we have. Okay. How many of you know about this, like the literature source documents? Hello? Hello? Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Arvind, you know about the literature source documents?
So
Would you
is
like
it
to
Yes,
like
sir.
explain
type
to
of
Yes, sir.
everybody? What do you know?
Like case report form,
Nobody can
for
hear
case
you.
reports.
Unmute yourself and speak up.
Hello, I'm audible, sir. Hello.
Okay. Like any any college, any professor, any doctor is conducting a study using a product and then he published a research article with his study study findings. So it doesn't matter in which journal the articles are published. It is the responsibility of the manufacturer to screen local literature articles or local literature journals or global literature journals for their product details. And whenever the research studies like included in the literature search, they will be picked as case processing. And in literature study, there's a difference, like a little bit of difference from other documents, that a literature case can involve multiple cases. There can be there can be multiple patient in a literature like in a study, research study, and we can have multiple cases from a single literature report. Okay.
Yes,
Guys,
sir.
I don't. Hello. If,
So
can
are we
anybody try
audible?
to speak, please?
Sir, are we audible to you?
Hello. 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 Hello.
Hello, sir.
Yes, you're audible. Please go ahead. Hello. Okay. Yes, Mank. Now I can hear. Okay. We can discuss in the next questions. So, is my screen like visible? We are starting with the demo. I'll be using a different document this time. Okay. So I have uploaded this document on the OneDrive as well. This is the Argos safety login page. Okay. As I have told in the previous sessions as well, that Argus will be accessible through a browser only. You will be provided with a browser, username, and a password. You can use the browser in any like URL in any database, like internet browser, like Microsoft, like Edge nowadays, Chrome, or any like browser that you use to access the internet. Okay, so moving on to the demo. This is the login page. Whenever you open the URL, this screen will appear. Okay. So you will enter username, password, and select the appropriate database. As I have explained previously, the database is the project that you are working for. What is a project, or the like company that you are working for is the company for which you are performing pharmacovigilance activities. Okay. Like you join any CRO and the CRO is in contract with any other company or any manufacturer. So the manufacturer company will be the name of the database.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then after logging in, this screen will appear in Argus. That is the home screen. This is how it looked like. This has different sections. That is case quick launch, cases assigned, contact log entries, action item entries. And please keep a note of these active tabs like activity cases, work list, case actions, utilities, and dashboards. I forgot to tell you about one different type of case that we have, that is XML. And let me open it for you. How many of you know what is an XML?
Extendable markup language.
Yes, extended markup language. What does this mean?
Like we can exchange ICSR between company and regulatories.
Yes. So this is a sample XML ICSR, and nowadays every company is moving in this direction. They are using XMLs. Okay. If you can see, there are different sections to XML: XML version, message sender, sender ID, receipt identifier, date format, message date. This is the like today's date. If we in XMLs, the information is read in reverse. This is today's date. If you see 23rd November 2025. Safety report ID will be case numbers, the report version, primary source, reporter country, reporter qualification. For this, there are different criterias that are used that are defined by ICH guidelines for to process cases as per the regulatory authorities using E2B format, because everything is divided into like given a code, and let me show you those codes. I'll share the link of the all the documents with the whenever I upload the video. You see, this is the ICH E2B R3 core data element sheet. Nowadays, every single case is being processed using these core data elements.
Sir, slides are not visible, sir.
Which types?
Sir, next slides are not visible.
This you can see the Excel sheet right now.
Yes, sir.
Descripted.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm presenting the Excel sheet right now, guys. So this is the ICH. If you can see the name ICH E2B R3 core data elements. According to these core data elements, the cases are being processed nowadays. If you see C1 sender case report identifier, this is the description of a case number, like how the case number should appear. Then the type of report, these are the type of report accepted, and confirmation. This should be there in the case report. It is a mandatory field. The IRD day zero, in which the source document was received or the most recent information was received. This is a mandatory field, and this is the format that should be used. Then again, reporter's country code, conditional mandatory, primary source for regulatory purposes, conditional mandatory. These are all the core data elements that are used and that are very important in case processing nowadays. Or from the very beginning, these are being followed. The source, like safety databases, are optimized according to these core data elements. Okay. I'll share the description or this Excel sheet along with the video. Now moving on to the demo. Okay. So yes, who want to speak? Go ahead. So this is the cases assigned section looks like. Like what are the cases assigned? What does it mean? It means that your manager, your team member, or your team lead, or whoever the team working on, they assigns a case to you and it will appear in your page. like this. The contact log entries are the further actions that needs to be taken. Then action item entries, it involves the field where any action is pending from your end. Okay, we will be discussing this. Now I will move on to case creation, how we create a case within Argus. You see, we move on to case actions. Case actions have three drop down values: open, new, and new case from image. New case from image is basically XMLs. Mean like we receive a XML from the reporter or partner from anywhere we are working on cases, and we can directly import the XML within the safety database. And to create a new case, we will click on new. And when we will click on new, this screen will appear. This is the basic book-in screen that we have in Argus. You see there are multiple fields with the red flags. They are very mandatory field which needs to be entered while booking. That is initial receipt date, country information, report type, product name. Description as reported means the event description as reported. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Then after entering all this information, first you will click on search to perform duplicate check. Duplicate check is basically a simple activity to identify whether the case is already there or not. Okay. And if it is not there, then we will proceed with booking the case. We enter this information like this: initial receipt date, countries, report type, product name, description, and patient information. And we will click on add, then we will add the seriousness criteria, and then we will click on book in. This page will appear and a case will be created. A case number will be generated in a series. Okay. and
Yes, sir.
and the case number is this. I like mentioned in the core data sheet. If I share it again with you, you see in the case number section, a two character country code will be used in all instances of the for the country component of the unique identifier. The country code exists in this list. There is a maximum length of like approved for a case number that is 100, and it should be alphanumerical. So if I tell you the case number should appear something like this. If we go by year 2025, in it has to include the country code, and then it will be as a like it will include a part of the study. Or first it can also include the name of the company that you are working for, or the name of the manufacturer that you are working for. Let's say Dr. Reddy's. Country, country code, sorry, year, country code, and series. So this case number will appear like this. If we have to create a new case, then the new case will appear automatically too, and then so on. You can create as many cases as you want. Okay. Then moving on to case processing. Once the case is created, we reach The gen like general tab of the case processing. This is where triaging begins or data entry begins. Please make a note of these tabs again: general, patient, product, event, analysis, activities, additional information, regulatory reports. These are the tabs that as a fresher you will be working for many years. These tabs will become a part of your life for at least 2 to 3 years as long as you are working on cases. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So in general tab, we have report type information, country, IRDs, central receipt date, medically confirmed, initial justification, and the amendment follow-up information and classification. It is very clear report type, spontaneous or study, whatever the source is, the country. Initial receipt date is when the case was first received, and central receipt date is the date when it is received for case processing team. They can be similar or their only a difference should allowed is 24 hours. Like if a case is day 0 is today's date, that is 23rd November. So the central receipt date can be 23rd November or 24th November as per the guidelines, because it is the responsibility of the manufacturer sponsor to inform the case processing team or PV team within 24 hours or not more than 48 hours in certain situations. If it is a weekend, okay. Then we have medically confirmed. Medically confirmed is basically to identify whether the case was received or a case is medically significant or was received from a medical healthcare professional. There's the drop down, it will contain yes or no. Medically confirmed, yes. Okay. Medically confirmed, yes, will be the case, means that the case was received from healthcare professional. And if it is known, then it will mean that the case was received from a consumer or a patient or their relatives or something like that. Okay. Amendment or follow up is when we receive a follow up information. This will contain two sections again. The initial receipt date, central receipt date will appear over here. The follow up receipt date will be this, safety receipt date will be this, and amendment or follow up justification. A column will appear over here to a full like to mention what was the follow up information. Okay. And then in the same, we mention reporter information in the general tab, where we mention the salutation, first name, last name, healthcare professional, yes or no, phone number, address details, reporter type. It is a very important interview question. What are the different reporter types in pharmacovigilance? Please note down. And we have to information of country, and then we have to check this checkbox. Whoever will be the first reporter will be marked as primary reporter, and there can be multiple reporters within a case. If there are 10 reporters, then you will be adding 10 fields over here, some like this reporter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It will go on. You can just click on here and keep on adding. But the first reporter will be the primary reporter. Then after entering the booking information, like in the general tab and the patient information, in the general tab, if the report is from a literature source, The literature information will be added over here. The author detail, title of the journal title, journal name, and you can mention six, like as per the reporter guidelines, six authors of a literature article will be required to added. So we can add on up to six. Then after this, we move on to patient tab where we mention patient related information and so on. After booking, you see over here this green button. This is a save button. After entering all the booking information, you click on save and you will click on this arrow button. This will help you route the case to or forward the case to the next workflow. There are different workflows defined within safety databases from booking to triage to data entry, quality review, medical review, regulatory submissions. Okay. The name of the workflows varies from database to database, but they have the similar functionality or the requirements. Once routing the case to the next workflow, you can the triage information will be needs to be entered where we enter additional information related to the case, and then after completing triage or first like booking of the case, then we move on to data entry, which is a workflow to enter all the remaining information that we receive in a source document. Let me make it clear again by referring to a source document. Let's say we go to a SIOMS form. Let's take it this adverse event report form. You see, there are information patient initials, age, gender, weight, event details, event resection, start date, stop date, onset lag time, describe event, then lab data, medical history, and everything. So in booking, we will enter the patient initials, then report type, event information, and the product information, and then we'll route the case to the next workflow. So in data entry, what will be required? The descriptions that are what was the event when, or the summary, what happened, when it happened, then relevant medical history or lab data, serious criteria, outcome, other suspect medications, action taken, concomitant medication. All this information will be entered during data entry. So case triage is basically entering four validity criterias: patient, reporter, event, drug. These are four criteria that are entered in during case triage, and then the case goes to data entry where we complete all the data entry information with the remaining information in the source document. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir.
So moving on to patient tab. In patient tab,
Uh,
yes,
Hello, sir.
yes.
Could you please repeat what is medically confirmed?
Medically confirmed is a tab which signifies whether the case was received from a healthcare professional or a non-healthcare professional. In this, you see there's a drop down menu. In this drop down menu, while you are working on Argus, you will see there are two options, yes or no. Yes will mean that it was received from a healthcare professional. No, it means that it was received from a non-healthcare professional.
Like,
Non
sir, you mean uh,
non-healthcare professional, I mean who are not medically qualified person like doctors. Healthcare professionals are who? Nurse, doctors who are working in hospitals, investigators who are working in clinical trial sites. They are like medical professional. A simple patient, or like, or any other person, they are not healthcare professionals.
Okay.
Okay,
Like they confirm adverse event between drug and
that is
adverse.
no. That is a different thing. Medically confirmed just simply means if the case was received from a healthcare professional or a non-healthcare professional.
Okay.
Yes or no. It's a simple thing. Moving on to patient tab. In patient tab, we enter patient-related information, first name, last name, initials, address details, if required by the process, then date of birth information, height, weight, age, gender, everything. In the patient tab, we have this field, event death details. If there is a death in the case or the patient has died, we will enter the death information over here on which the patient died, where if the autopsy was done or yes or not, if the autopsy results are available, yes or no. And we will code here, okay? And on the same, we'll go down, we have other relevant history tab where we enter the relevant history of the patient. We will select like these terms. This is where medra comes into picture. All these terms are coded using medra. And on the same tab, we have lab data information where we enter lab data or whether the patient underwent any lab data. You see, there's a section you click on add test. These four columns will appear. In the first column, you will enter the test name. That's the liver function test. So this Medra browser will appear. It will look like this: liver function test. You select the term which is more appropriate according to the condition that you are going to code. So we will select the liver function test. Then the PAT, HLT, HLGT, and SOC will automatically appear, and you select. Then this will appear like this: liver function test. In this, you enter the unit information, and here you enter the date, the values, like what on this date liver function test showed 450 IU by like international unit by per liter, which means it was elevated. You can just add on to date, like to repeat if the test was repeated, like 11 November, then again on 10 December, the liver function test showed 400 IU by L, which was again elevated. You can add multiple values and you can add multiple tests. Okay, clear?
Yes, sir.
Now moving on to the product tab. In product tab, you see there are different fields. This is the drug case. Here we have product name. In product tab, the name of the products that we enter is suspect product, concomitant, and treatment. Anybody wants to tell the difference between suspect, concomitant, and treatment?
No, sir.
Go ahead.
Like concomitant means patient taking another medicines with suspect drug at same time.
Okay. And what are the treatment medications?
He used to treat the adverse event.
When? Like, what is the difference between treatment and concomitant?
Once he experienced the adverse event or ADR, uh, he used to treat the adverse event. They call as treatment drugs.
Okay, but again, if they are being taken along with the suspect product, then how come they are different from concomitant? Concomitant medications you mentioned along with the suspect product, and same the treatment you are saying the patient is taking to treat the adverse event along with the suspect product, then how they are different from concomitant medications?
Okay, please explain, sir.
So treatment medications are given during a certain situation. Let's say a patient was hospitalized due to an event. Then the medications given to the patient to treat. It is not mandatory whether the treatment like medications were given to treat the particular adverse event. They can be given to heal anything or treat anything at that particular time when the event was serious. Let's say patient experienced heart attack and he was admitted in the hospital. So the patient will be given blood thinners. So the blood thinners will be treated as like mentioned, like recorded as treatment medications
Okay,
because they are temporary, and once the patient is stable, the treatment medications will be stopped. Concomitant
okay,
medications will be continuing, ongoing. Okay. So the product tab is the tab where we code company product information using company product dictionary. In the last sessions, I have explained what is the company product dictionary. To record or to add the product name, you go to select, you just mention the product name over here, click on select. It will open the company product dictionary browser, and you have to select the particular product that you are working for, and then all the information will automatically appear. Just like Medra, as I shown, you mention the name, you select the product like this term, then rest of the information automatically appear. Same in the product tab, the products are coded using WHO drug dictionary, but they will be coded from company product dictionary. You click on select, rest of the information like this. The patient product identifier, type, formulation, concentration, it will be auto filled in accordingly as the database is configured. In the product tab, we have the generic information name, the product indication information, and the doses information like start date, stop date, route of admin, batch number, expiration date, first dose, last dose, de-challenge, re-challenge, and everything. Okay. Moving on to the event tab. Again, same, just how the meta coding is done over here. In the event tab, meta coding will be done similarly. Just enter the term, select the appropriate meta coding, and this information will automatically appear. You will mention event onset date, event stop date, outcome, intensity, the severity, mild, moderate, severe, and seriousness criteria, treatment received, yes or no. Simple. This is how the Mandra coding browser will appear. Mandra coding, like Mandra SMQ, will search the term Mandra, like whatever you're trying to code. Like I search arthritis, the LLT will appear. I clicked on arthritis, or we'll select the PT as arthritis, the HLT, HLGT, and SOC. It will automatically populate, and you can select, and it will be coded. Okay, they are very minor details of HLG, HLT, HLGT, and SOC. You see, there are multiple codes. These codes or these terms, they are very important coding or terms. They play a very important role in aggregate reporting and signal management. That is why it is very important to code the correct terminology. One incorrect coding will change the SOC, HLGT, and HLT. You see, we are talking about arthritis. There are multiple arthritic terms, like let's say arthritis, arthritis aggravated, arthritis flare, arthritis not otherwise specified, arthritis not otherwise specified, aggravated. So if I choose arthritis, or if I again like the term should have been arthritis, and if I code it with arthritis not otherwise specified, these codes will be different, these SOC will be different, and it will impact the aggregate reporting and signals. So that is why everybody focuses on to correctly code the terms that you think it is more suitable. While working on cases, if you are not sure that which term should be coded, you can reach out to the medical reviewer. You can seek help rather than making a mistake. And that is why the pharmacology study during your master's or bachelor's is very important, like to enhance your medical understanding. That is why I focus, like in all my sessions, I focus on the freshers should learn the basics. If your medical understanding is clear, then you will not make mistakes in long run, like while working on this. Okay. I want to add on product tab. We can configure the product tab accordingly to mention drug, device, and vaccine, like suspect concomitant treatment. The database can be configured if we are working on device cases. The device will appear over here. If we are working on a vaccine case, the vaccine will appear over here. Like this drug is mentioned, there will be device and drug, or sorry, vaccine. I have one document. Let me share it with you how it appears. Let me know when my screen, if you are not able to see my screen. You see, drug, device, vaccine. The databases can be configured accordingly. It makes a difference. Like it makes it very easy to work on different types of cases. Like material vigilance, if you want to learn about material vigilance, the device cases are also processed within the safety databases, but we just have to click on device and it will appear. The device information will look like this. If we click on device, this will appear like this: product delivered by device, or device information, quality control information.
What about combinational products?
Then we have to configure again. If it is a combination product, this will be mentioned in the product information. The rest of the information will be similar. you have to understand, don't create hypothetical situations. If you are working on drug pharmacovigilance, you will not be receiving combinational products.
What,
I,
sir?
if you are working on a drug cases, okay,
Okay.
you will not be receiving combinations. Let's say you are working on PV activities for paracetamol drug, which is a drug. So
Okay.
you will only receive paracetamol cases. There will be no combination cases. If we are supposed to receive combination product cases, then the database will be configured accordingly.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
So this clears the difference between drug device vaccines, like material vigilance cases, pharmacovigilance, drug pharmacovigilance. This is the difference only where the case like for entry level jobs. This is the only difference. Again, the rest of the fields like how the narratives are prepared, how the reporting are done, they can vary according to the process requirements, but this is the difference only if you are working on drug cases, device cases, or vaccine cases. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Moving back to the demo. After entering the product information, we will enter the event assessment, that is basically the causality information and the expectedness information. You see, in the causality information, we mention two types of causality, the reporter causality and the MH causality or sponsor. As per the process, we can mention anything over here. We can mention sponsor, we can mention the company name or anything. This is general thing. Non healthcare professional is the reporter and the sponsor. They can also look like this. And global introspection is the method that are used to report the causality, not reported and suspected. In this scenario, this means is, as per the reporter, the causality was not reported. The reporter didn't specify whether the event was related to the case or related to the drug or not. And MH, as per global introspection, they suspected that the event was related to the drug. Okay. And the MH causality is usually determined or assessed by the medical safety reviewers. Okay. And this is where we enter the listedness information, expectedness information. You see CDS, USPI, the core data sheet, company core data sheet, or United States package inserts. These are the reference documents. They will be mentioned like this, and this will be filled according to that. Moving on to the product event details, you see the tab. The tab is changed. Event assessment, product event details. The event information. Here we fill the action taken with the drug with respect to the event, and the de-challenge and re-challenge information will auto-populate or auto-appear as tagged to the product tab. This information is filled in the product tab. It will appear over here. Okay, clear? Guys, am I clear?
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Then moving on to analysis tab. Analysis tab is basically where we enter the narrative. Okay. What do you know about narrative writing? Anybody wants to explain? Why do we write a narrative?
To keep
Summarizing
it
the event.
What?
simple and easy to access what happened in patient history.
Okay. Anybody wants other one? Anybody else? No one. Narrative writing is basically giving a summary to the document. Writing writing a short story about this source document that we received. Yes, Kartiki, it is a patient story, basically summarizing the source document in a regulatory accepted format. That is the need of narrative writing. Narrative writing is very important for aggregate reporting. Okay, we will discuss the narrative writing. So moving on to the activities tab, you see this is the activity tab. We have to mention the contact log, like on this date we have to send a letter, follow-up letter, who will be doing it, the action item and the routing comments. Action items, like we have discussed in the beginning, if any pending action item is there with your name or anybody within the case, they will appear over here. Routing comments are basically automatically generated messages whenever a case is routed from one workflow to another workflow. They will appear automatically over here. Okay. And then moving on to the additional information tab. This is the tab where we add or attach all the source documents related to the case. Like we have been discussing the source documents. Like this is the source document that we received. We will be attaching this within the case for reference so that everybody can know like this case has been processed from this source document. Or in future, if we receive any follow-up information related to the case, this will also be added over here. Okay. After adding the source documents, we move on to regulatory reports. Regulatory reports is the tab where we enter the regulatory information. Whenever we analyze that the case that we are working on is a regulatory reportable case, this information will be filled in the case. Like to which authority the case is reportable, which document will be received or exchanged, when it is due, when it is submitted, when the report is generated. So nowadays, regulatory reporting is done automatically. Whenever the case fulfills the criteria to be an expedited report or a regulatory reportable case, this information will be automatically generated within the case. Okay. So what do you understand with expedited case reports or reportable cases? Not all the cases are reported to regulatory authorities. Everybody knows that, like, we receive cases, they are reported to regulatory authorities, and then the regulatory authorities take a decision whether the drug stays in the market or not, or whether the package insert is updated. So, what do you understand by expedited case report? Anybody?
15 days cases, like serious unlisted cases.
Yes. Serious, unlisted, and related cases. Causality is very important.
Yes, sir.
So, whenever a case is serious, that what does seriousness mean? The patient was hospitalized or any other serious criteria was applicable, and the event was unexpected and was related to the study drug or the like company suspect, then the case becomes expedited case report. In certain situations, the causality will not make a difference, and those cases are non-serious cases, but they have to have a specific criteria like aggregate reporting. The case, there should be a specific case type. Doesn't matter when the case is serious or non-serious, related or not related.
Invalid cases.
Non-serious cases. But like I'm telling you about US requirements, spontaneous, the case should be spontaneous, locally from USA. Expected or unexpected doesn't matter, they will be submitted as a part of aggregate reporting.
Okay.
Okay, so after completing all these tabs, the case will be closed within Argus. Moving on to the narrative discussion. Everybody knows narrative writing is summary, and
Sir, what will happen after a case follow-up?
case follow up. Again, if we receive a case, like follow up information for a case, the steps, like I explained over here in this, all the steps will be again followed whenever there is a repeated or new information, and the respective information will be entered accordingly. Let's say we receive a follow up information and a new product was added, so the product tab will be updated accordingly, and the rest of the information remains the same. Okay.
Okay, sir.
and the na- and the same information will be added in the narrative accordingly. Let me show you the narrative. This is the narrative that's it looks like. That is general description, introduction, report type. The spontaneous case report initially received on this date was reported by a patient, which explains that the patient experienced this event while taking this drug for this indication. Okay. Here, then we move on to concurrent medical conditions or concomitant product informations. And then we move on to summary that on this date, the patient started this and experienced this. Then, if there is any summary, not the discharge summary or the case summary, or let's say story, it will be explained over here. Then we move on to event details, that what was the event, whether the event was serious, what was the outcome of the event. Then we enter lab data information. Then we enter the action taken with the study drug. And then we enter the causality information, whether the case was like considered related or not related. And there was a question about follow up. So entering follow up information is a different approach. We can have a sequential follow up update or a integrated follow up update. Let's see this. This is a sequential, like most recent follow up information incorporated included this date. On this date, they received a follow up that the suspect product coding and formulation was updated. You can mention the detail what was updated, and either integrate when we have integrated we can mention the most recent follow-up information will be included over here, but the information will be included or incorporated within the pre-existing narrative. Okay. To write the narrative we have to consider different things, that is, first, a third person perspective. You have to write a narrative from the third person perspective, always in past tense. You have to follow chronology and what was reported. To mention the medical terminology, you have to stick to the medical terminology, and then synchronization. The information reported within the tabs, like the event tab, product tab, that should match with the narrative. These are the most important points that should be considered while writing a narrative. Okay. Any questions on the narrative?
Sir, I think you missed so many things in narrative, like patient age, gender, outcome of events.
If you are not listening to properly, there is the patient information we mentioned over here. Outcome information was discussed over here.
Okay.
We mentioned the patient details over here was reported by a patient. The patient details will be mentioned over here. Or initially received on this date was reported. If reporter is someone else, reported by healthcare professional, which mentions or which reports a 56-year-old patient. This will, or six is male or female patient gender like this. This information will appear like this, and outcome is there. Any questions? Guys, any question?
No, sir.
So this is how a real world case processing is done in Argus safety. I have in my previous video I have shown the difference between LSMV and Viva as well. We will be discussing all the tabs of LSMV and Viva in the upcoming sessions. But this is how we process cases in the safety database using Argus. I'll be adding all the references and all these documents in the OneDrive link. You can have access to that. Okay. Moving on to questions. Now I'm sharing, stop sharing my screen, and we will open question answers. I'll be taking like names. Moving on with Kartiki. Kartiki, any questions? Okay. Abhay, any question?
Currently, no, sir.
Arvind, any questions?
No, sir.
Ashwak, any questions? Ayushi, any questions? Diksha, any question?
No, sir.
Siddhi, any questions?
No, sir.
Sonali, Tripti, any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, if there are
Hello,
no
sir.
okay, if there are no
Sir,
questions,
in narrative writing, you told 5 points. First point, third party related. No?
no, it is about writing the narrative. The narrative should be
Ah,
written in a third person perspective. Like you are writing a narrative in your own way. You are writing a story about someone. So that is third
okay.
person perspective.
Okay.
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 Sir, we can't edit a case after saving.
Yes, you can edit the case after saving, but if you are routing the case to next workflow, then you will not be able to edit the case until and unless you request them to send back the case. You can just save information, you can edit as long as you want. If you have routed it to next workflow, then the other person will have the control. You will not be having any control.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Ayushi, if it is about a reporter information, it's just a reporter information. Like if any family member or relative reports the case, then it will be reported by a patient or consumer or anything. The narrative will follow the similar approach, and you don't have to mention any reference to with their names, or like say with their details, whether it was reported by this person or this person. There's a standard format for the narrative, and we have to follow or stick to that. Okay. So in the next sessions, we will be discussing again LSMV and Viva. Tripti, aggregate reporting is a very big topic, and this involves a whole new discussion. And I can have like I can record a video for like to explain the basics of aggregate reporting. You can reach out to me. We can discuss it separately. Then, if there are no further questions, we are good to close the call. Thank you,
Thank you
guys.
for the session, sir.
I will be uploading the video recording to on the YouTube channel. Please, like, I request all of you who are a part of the session, please like and comment on the video
Thank you very much, sir.
about the experiences. Okay. you are a part of the session, I request you to provide feedback on the video itself. Okay. Thank you, guys.